Now, I'm not going to talk an awful lot about the process itself in this recording because I've droned on long enough. But in essence, what it involves is having the T3 containing medication, I'll call it, be it natural desiccated thyroid or T3 itself or T4 T3, available, ready by the bedside, with an alarm clock or a mobile phone or a vibrating mobile phone or a phone for the deaf, whatever you want to use to wake yourself up sometime during that 4-hour period before you normally get out of bed. Take your thyroid meds, glass of water, go back to sleep. And that might seem a big hassle to people, really big hassle. But if it works right, and it usually does, if it works right, then the sleep quality you get after that, when the cortisol levels and all the other adrenal hormones normalize, is wonderful. It's a deep sleep, it's a good quality sleep, and it's a refreshing sleep. So actually, it might seem a lot of hassle, but it isn't. It actually works really well, and once you're in the routine of doing it, it's trivial. You wake up in the morning, you don't even know you've done it. It's just so quick. So it might seem a problem, but it isn't, in my experience. The other thing to say is it's not something that should be rushed into and done carelessly, because the effect of using the method can be so profound and so stunning. It has to be done very carefully. So in the book, in Recovering with T3, I describe a process for doing this, and I do recommend that anybody that's considering this works with their doctor, gets the book, reads the process, and you do it as carefully and thoroughly as you can. And that normally involves starting to take a dose of T3 containing medication around about 1.5 to 2 hours before you normally get out of bed, so that any effect to start with is fairly mild, and then slowly over time, leaving enough time in between changes, that dosage is then moved back by half an hour until some optimal level is found. I wrote my book, Recovering with T3, I rewrote it for patients and for doctors, and my goal is to ultimately have some doctors read this and have the process for T3 dosage management and the Circadian T3 method picked up by doctors. I really believe it's a best-in-class process. It's the safest there is at the moment, and it's very systematic and very effective. I use many measures in the process to ensure that it's safe. Many of the measures that doctors and endocrinologists use, I pay attention to heart rate, blood pressure, body temperature, and a range of laboratory tests, and symptoms. Obviously, symptoms are key. The reason that I pay attention to blood pressure and heart rate is that when adrenal hormones change, then the interaction between the thyroid hormones and adrenal hormones and the way that they work together on the body can bring about profound changes. And if that might reveal a situation where the thyroid hormone levels are too high, or that someone may make a correction with the Circadian T3 method, which drives the adrenal hormones to too high a level. All of these things can result in elevated blood pressure, elevated heart rate, and symptoms that indicate that there is an excess of something. And so it's very, very, very important to pay attention to this, and I encourage anybody considering this to work closely with their doctor, but also to buy their own home blood pressure monitor to keep track of it. To not track blood pressure when someone is on thyroid medication or on adrenal medication, or when thyroid hormones or adrenal hormones are changing, is reckless, in my opinion. And I don't believe in doing that. I think you need to be safe, you need to be very thorough, and you need to track everything. And ideally you work as closely as possible with a doctor who's supportive and can help you as much as possible with lab tests when you need them. And my dream really would be to have doctors pick up this process and run it and use it and I would think at that point I would have achieved something. And the work that's gone into the book and gone into all my years of research on various aspects of T3 use will have actually been of value and will have some long-term benefit then. So I would encourage any doctors that listen to this or read the post on my website blog, if you want to find out any more, you want to speak to me about this, then use the contact us form on my website. The website's http://recoveringwitht3.com or http://rwt3.com, and leave me a message, because the doctors are the guys I really want to get to here, because ultimately if the doctors change the way things are being done and begin to use all the thyroid hormones, when appropriate, T4, T3, natural desiccated thyroid and T3, and use the best methods of using T3, then that's what's going to give the patients the best possible result in the long term. So that would be great if that could happen. I think that's pretty much all I wanted to say today. I've talked a little bit about the process, not in great detail, but you can get that from the book. All I can say is the Circadian T3 method, it worked really brilliantly for me. I'm still using it. I've been using it for 13 years. My cortisol levels are decent, and I feel well. I'm fit, I'm healthy. It also fits all the medical facts about it. It just fits. It makes sense, completely makes sense, and the way in which people respond to it can be so dramatic and so quick in many cases that it is obviously rooted in common sense. In some cases it is slower because the person has other issues, and in some cases the adrenal glands have been struggling for so long that it takes a while for them to correct. But the response from the patients that have used this so far, and a great many have done so, is excellent. It is really excellent. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Again, I don't claim to have done anything spectacularly brilliant here. I just happen to be a sick person at the right place at the right time, and I found some information and it gave me an idea and I tested it, and there is nothing really special here. If I used to be in basically science and engineering, that's my background, and if this was an invention, then it wouldn't be patentable. There is nothing novel here in this process. It is just really obvious when you think about it. And I just hope more people use it. It's an option. It's a tool that's there for patients and doctors, and it does seem to be producing far better adrenal function in the patients that have tried it. And I'll probably talk some more about this at a future date, but that's pretty much all I wanted to say at the moment. I hope I've explained how I got to the Circadian T3 method well enough, and that you've got a better sense of it now. So thank you for listening. This is Paul Robinson, and I hope you read my book, Recovering with T3. Thank you very much.